Hi, friends, and welcome back to Fill Your Cup with Wild Geese Bookshop. I'm Kara.
And I'm Emily.
And today we're going to be talking all things like mid-year wrap-up, some of our favorites across like books, movies, TV, the events that we've hosted, and the hobbies that we're doing, just kind of talking about where we're at. July is rapidly approaching, and we thought it would be a good time to reflect before we kick off the second half in the busy season of the year for us.
Yeah.
So, Emily, let's start with books because I feel like that just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What have you been reading so far and what has been sticking out to you?
So I've had a slower start to my reading year. I feel like I kicked it off really well in January and February, and then it kind of fell off. We got busy at work. I got busy in my personal life, but that doesn't mean I haven't read good things. So I think one of my top contenders so far for my favorite book I've read is the Phoebe Berman's Going to Lose It by Brooke Averick. It is so good.
It was very good.
It is so good. It's a love story in a way that reminds me of like a classic like early 2000s rom-com.
Yeah.
But it also touches on a lot of things like intimacy anxiety and just like different things I feel like I haven't seen a lot of authors at all, let alone like romance author touch on. And to talk about like things like having anxiety with being like intimate or having anxiety with love in general is kind of a bold topic for a romance book because you think of romance books as being like idealized situations where you fall in love and like all this wild stuff happens, but like love works out in the end. And like, I'm not saying that that's not where the author Brooke got to in the end, but like the journey was so good. Like Phoebe's journey throughout the book was good. All of the love interests were really great. The friends were amazing. The found family was great. I couldn't ask for like a better book. It's like one of my favorites of the year so far.
Yes, I read that book earlier this year and I really, really enjoyed it. I think Brooke Averick is going to be a great writer to like look out for. I didn't know when I had picked it up that she has like a podcast and that's like where she like got her start. And so I went into this completely unbiased and I was so pleasantly surprised. Her writing was very like, it was very readable, but also like it felt different. Like it was like unique and the characters felt so real. I loved Phoebe so much and I saw so much of myself in Phoebe. And I think she did a great job at making it that like Phoebe was a relatable character to not just like one type of person. Like I feel like a lot of different people could see parts of Phoebe like in themselves and like take away parts or like be like, oh, I've never thought of it like that. Like if they don't necessarily relate to like the anxieties that Phoebe's going through and being like, oh, that's like a new perspective. And I think that's really like necessary to have in romance and like a really important part of what makes romance so great.
Yes, I agree. What about you? We can kind of go back and forth maybe. That would do.
So I've been having a pretty killer reading year, honestly. I have been reading like banger after banger, it feels like. Like I'm just like, I'm handing out fives like candy and I don't usually do that. And I am having a lot of fun. I think this year I'm having more time to read than I had last year with like getting married. I switched jobs, all of that. Like I've kind of settled. And so now I have like time. So I've been reading a lot of romance this year. I've talked about this very briefly on this podcast, but Dolly All the Time by Annabelle Monaghan is just, she is that girl. That book is so good. I love that book so much. I think it's like one of those kind of similar to Phoebe Berman's Gonna Lose It. It's like at its core, the book is a romance, but it's also so much more than that. And there's a lot of like real life experiences and discussions to be had within the book about like motherhood and being a caretaker in any capacity for like any type of like individual. And I'm not a mother, but I still was like, I feel Dolly. Like I understand Dolly. And I think that just with all of Annabelle Monaghan's backlist in general, that's something I've noticed with her books is just that I'm always so engrossed in her storytelling and the way that she writes a story and the way that she writes characters in a way that they feel so real that I'm like, that's a person. I know her. And I always look for that, especially like when romance is a big one for me, where I have to feel connected to the characters in order to care. Because like romance, like I'm not saying that like all romances are the same, but it's very easy to kind of fall into like tropes and like, oh, I've read that trope before. So I'm always looking for ways to connect to the story and the character so that it feels different. And that's something that I look for. And I think I've hit the jackpot this year with just finding books that fall into that little niche that I love.
Yeah, and we got to meet Annabelle Monaghan. We got to meet her multiple times
Yes.
on like not on accident. It was all
Not to flex.
it was all planned out. It was just kind of funny how it came to be. We met her on her way out of the bookstore one time. She came in and signed book plates for us, which was very sweet before the event came to fruition. And then the event came to fruition and we got to meet her in like a more professional but also like more friendly circumstances where we had like time to sit down and talk to her. And I think she kind of mimicked the same sentiment that you were just talking about with Dolly, where she just felt like Dolly was like it. And that was one of her more relatable characters that she's written. And it was a great conversation, and she really loves her books and she really loves the people who read her books. Very sweet all around. So if you're someone who wants to like read a book but you also want to know the author's like a great genuine person, Dolly All the Time would probably be great for you because we can vouch that she is a great genuine person.
Monaghan is fabulous.
So probably one of my top picks for the year, and I don't see it going anywhere, and it was like the second book I read in the year, was Superfans by Jenny Tingje Zhang. I loved this book, and I feel like I've talked about this book a lot, but maybe just like off the podcast it just feels like I talk about it a lot because I tell everybody else about the book a lot. Superfan is so good in a way that if you were ever in a fandom, you feel uncomfortable sometimes reading it because it seems dramatic in the book how like this fandom acts, but it's not because it's very real and it actually does happen. So the book takes this idea, it's like a dual POV between a super fan of this K-pop band, westernized K-pop band, and then one of the lead guys in the group is the other POV. And it really talks about like the psychology kind of behind like what it means to be in a fandom and like what fandoms and how they interact with their celebrities that they idolize, and then like how that impacts those celebrities. And it takes a really interesting look at it. And it's very reminiscent, if anyone's ever in like the One Direction fandom when it was like at its peak and all of that wild behavior was happening from fans all around the world, and like they were like stalking One Direction and like finding their addresses and like where they're staying at hotel wise. Like it talks about all of that. And that's what I mean when it's like kind of like uncanny valley where you're like, oh, this seems so wild, I can't believe someone would think this up, but she didn't make it up. Jenny's probably writing from like a lot of research, I'm assuming, about how fandoms actually behave. And it was just a really interesting read, and it kind of had like this supernatural element to it that kind of like haunted the like, it was like a Z plot almost, where it was like just kind of like in the back, always lingering, and you kind of didn't know where it was coming from. And you just watch like both of these characters descend on different paths of like whether that's like I would probably argue like into madness, because like I couldn't imagine being a celebrity where people were doing the most to try to meet me, and like they think they know everything about these celebrities. And then this girl who's like coming of age in college and trying to just fit in and find a place where she belongs, and she finds a place in this fandom, and this K-pop group got her through some like the toughness of a freshman year. And like so it's like relatable on like so many levels. I don't know how Jenny did it. I don't know how she fit all of that into one book, but it is a super interesting read. And I think it's an interesting read for lots of different readers, whether you're into like the psychological aspect of human behavior, or you just want like a fun read that kind of teeters between genres of coming of age, lit fic area into like psychological thriller almost, in my opinion. It was so good. Something I didn't expect to read and really, really like, but I enjoyed it so much. It's a staff pick of mine at the store now. I think it'll probably be one of my top 3 of the year for sure. I don't want to say my top yet because I still have 6 months, but I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you've been like really championing for Superfan since you had read it, and it's been on my list, but when I say something's like on my list of books to read, like that list is like really long, and that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get to it quickly, but that is one that's like heavily on my radar because since like I got my first like access to the internet, I feel like I've been so deep in like fandom culture and it like still sometimes pops up in ways even as an adult. And so that is like an aspect that really interests me. And I love coming of age stories, especially in like literary fiction. I think that's so interesting, and it just calls to me. And so I really want to read that one. Similar kind of vibes in the way of like girlhood and growing up. I read just like, I think this month I read Girls Girl by Sonia Feldman. It is a debut, and it follows this like friend group of like 3 girls that are like growing up in like kind of just like your traditional like suburb of like the US, like where you can like bike to your friend's house, and like you're like spending every weekend at somebody's house and you're doing something that you probably shouldn't, like just like that like coming of age kind of like classic story. And it's very much a little bit different than Superfan in the way that it's just like very much you're following one character the whole time and how she's seeing their friend group and like seeing the different things that are happening to them through the like just like her point of view. And it's very much like that character study type of literary fiction where like not a lot is happening. Like the plot is the characters and not necessarily like what the characters are doing like activity wise, but just like growth as like a person and like figuring out who you are is more so like what is driving the story along. And it was one of those books that when I had picked it up, I didn't really know that it was going to be like more character study like style, but I really enjoyed it. And it was just, I got so comfortable with the main character that I was like, I thought I knew her. And then like it just kind of like switched up at the end. No spoilers here, but that was a really great read, and it was very exciting because it's a debut. And Sonia Feldman, I am very excited to see what she writes next because her writing style was absolutely fabulous and just something that I could see myself like I could read anything. Like she could pick any genre and I would probably pick it up. It was so good.
Well, and that like flavor of lit fic of the character study is really tough to do because I feel like especially nowadays with all the access to social media and stuff, people's attention spans aren't quite long enough to actually dive into a character study. So the fact that it like kept attention and everything, that's really, especially for a debut, that's awesome.
No, it was so good. And like I think she had just like the perfect like page length down. Like it's like I think it's like 235 pages or something like that. So it was just like a little short and sweet. And it just like, again, kind of how I was talking about like I need to care for the characters that I'm reading about. I cared about them, so I was like, oh, I don't mind that like they're like she's walking to her friend's house to go paint their nails again. Like I don't really care about that. Like I'm fine with that. Like because I just wanted to know what was going on in her head. It was just the way that she did it was just so brilliant, and I'm very excited to see what she does next.
Yeah, I have just recently started dabbling in or adding things to my TBR that are more short, like fiction books, short story like anthologies, but also just like shorter novella length novels even. I read We Burned So Bright by TJ Klune in the first part of this year, and it was so good. It is very small book. It's probably a little over 200 pages as well, and I went into it not knowing what it was about, which is on me as a reader.
That I feel partially responsible because I read it in December and you told me you're reading it. I'm like, oh, you're gonna love it. Not thinking.
So a little fun fact about me that people who know me know, but other people might not know, is that I am like petrified of the end of the world and anything like apocalyptic related. I can't watch movies about it. I usually can't consume media about it because I will spiral into like thoughts of like what happens if the world ends. It was really bad year for me in like 2012 when all the people were talking when all the people were talking about the end of the world, and I would just be sitting there ruminating and being like, well, the world's gonna end, so what am I gonna do? So I am very, very scared of that type of content, and that is a me issue, a skill issue, if you will. I will get over it eventually, but I did read We Burn So Bright by TJ Klune, which is about the end of the world. Like that is what the book is about. The plot is the end of the world, and it's about these 2 guys who are traveling to go make peace. I don't want to spoil it too much, but traveling to go make peace before the end of the world meets with their estranged son, but not estranged son. I don't really know how to describe it without spoiling it, so I don't want to say too much. But they're married. They had a son. They talks about their lives. It talks about the backstory is so beautifully written. The two main characters are stunning. I love them so much.
I know.
They are the cutest couple that there ever was, and they're older, so they give off that like neighbor next door kind of like elderly neighbor next door
That's
vibe.
one of my favorite like types of characters. I love like an older character,
which makes it even more heartbreaking because they are like the elderly neighbors next door that would do literally anything for anybody ever, and one of them will do it with a smile on their face, and one of them's like grumpy but secretly loves to do it. And I love it so much. And then the ending happened. There are several times in this book, because of my fear of the end of the world, I had to shut it off. I was listening to it on Libro, and I had to shut it off because I could not handle. I was ruminating too much. I had to shut it off. So it did take me longer to read it than I wanted to. But the payout at the end, I have not cried because of a book in a really, really long time. Like genuine tears of sorrow, like my heart broken. I sobbed at the end of this book, and my heart was shattered. It was so beautifully done. TJ Klune is obviously a great writer.
Yeah.
And fantastic. But it was these two characters. They were just peak characters for me. They will probably be like my favorite characters of the year outside of any of my favorite books of the year. I will remember those two for the rest of my life because they were just so good. Yeah. And it was amazing. I'm not surprised because it's TJ Klune. I was surprised because it was the end of the world, but that's okay. That's okay. So just so everyone knows, I hope TJ Klune's listening to this, that I did in fact read your book, even with my fear of the end of the world. And I'm fine. And I would recommend it. I will hand sell it because it is so good. Such a beautiful story. And like the meaning behind it all.
Yeah. I really loved that little book. TJ Klune, I think it's just like fact now that he is a fabulous writer. And it was a book about the end of the world, but like there were like little like moments of like joy and like care. There was a little bit of balance while it was still very heartbreaking, but like you felt every emotion genuinely while reading that book. And I just love that. And I love following like older characters just so much.
Especially when it shows their backstory and how they met and like how they fell in love and like how their dynamics worked out to be what they were when we were reading them in present day. Like it was just, they had a beautiful love story.
Yeah. Similar, but not really. The old characters thing. I think 2026 is the year of the older character. I'm here for it. Like we've got like The Correspondent is like a banging book this year. Mad Mabel by Sally Hepworth follows like an older woman. A book I just read in like May, I believe, is Good Joy Bad Joy by Mickey Brammer. I love that book. If you came to our wine event in June, that was my pick for this year, and I absolutely adore it, and I could talk about it forever. It follows this like 82-year-old woman who is struggling with coming to terms with like life changing, and especially like as you're getting older, a lot of the life changes that you're experiencing are like not within your control. And so she's just trying to figure out if the life that she's lived so far is one that she would be proud to say is like a life that she had lived. And so she's like, I'm going to get as many life experiences as I can as quickly as I can. And so she starts like running in circles with like people she doesn't usually like interact with, like making like unlikely friends and a little bit of petty theft, that kind of vibe. Just like getting as many experiences that she had not had in her day-to-day life prior. She was a stay-at-home mom, and she had never worked a job in her life. So like her life was her husband and her kids don't like live near her anymore, and her husband passed away. So she's like figuring out how to live life on her own for the first time. And it was such a good book. And I think like that topic could have been very like heavy and like sad to read about, but Mickey Brammer did such a good job at like using humor to navigate such like harsh topics and like handling them very delicately. I was laughing so much during this book. It was just delightful. Like I loved the character Joy, and I think if Joy existed in the same world as Sybil from The Correspondent by Virginia Evans, I think they would be besties. And I love that. And I think she would be friends with Mabel too from Mad Mabel. So just like a little like old lady like crew. I think it would be really fun. And I think they would all really like each other. But I'm super into that. I just think it's so interesting. And I feel like that genre of character is always so lovable to me. And I feel like you really get to see them for like who they are, because I feel like, especially like as you're getting older, I feel like people tend to often be more like, this is who I am, period, like take it or leave it, like this, like they're more outspoken, I guess, about like who they are and like unapologetically themselves. And I eat that up every time. I just love it.
I feel like I need to jump on this train. I feel like that's what I say every time Kara tells me about a book or a trope or a subgenre. I'm like, well, then I must read it too, because Kara basically vets my books for me on accident, because I just follow whatever she reads, because they're always good. Or if Kara's like, no, that one wasn't my favorite, then I probably won't pick it up, which is like not good. I just read so much slower than you. I think it's very nice to have a friend who reads really fast, because then I don't like have to, then it's kind of like weeding through some different things, because we do have similar tastes. I will say there are definite differences between our taste in books. There are some things that like I read that you absolutely would not read probably, and that vice versa, I'm sure. But I feel like you've been on that kind of like vibe of like the older women and like being a girl's girl and girlhood, and I kind of love that. Yeah. And I kind of need that in my life. So I feel like I should jump on.
It's usually pretty fun.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there are moments of like where it's like, okay, that kind of hurt a little bit. Like that's a little sad, but for the most part it remains fairly lighthearted, I would say. So I'm into it. Have there been any arcs that you've read this year or like things that aren't out yet that you're like, you can speak for?
Yes. I read Grim Tidings by V.K. Morrison. Very fortunate. No, that's a really, really hot like commodity. And it was fabulous. It was great. It was amazing. I love this paranormal romance that she's got going on with Harper, and I loved Good Spirits. I thought it was great. I loved First Time Caller as well, but then when I read Good Spirits, I was like, oh, this is so fun and so different, and I'm not really into paranormal romances, or I didn't think I was until I read Good Spirits.
And you had to convince me to read Good Spirits, because I was like, oh, I don't really do paranormal romance, I might sit this one out, and you convinced me to read it, and
it was so good.
Very glad that you did.
Grim Tidings, I will say, feels a notch better even then. And BK does this really great thing in all of her books that I've noticed, where she like calls back to previous characters and calls back to different like little nods to small details from previous books, and she does that in Grim Tidings, and it's so you just feel so, you're like, I know what she's talking about. And I love the idea of like a guardian or like an angel, like a guardian angel and a reaper. I think that's so fun and different. It was good. It was a love story, but it was also, I would say, kind of like finding yourself again, because obviously the reaper is the FMC, and she is on like a journey and a path to find out who she is after death, because to be a reaper you had to have died. And she meets a guardian angel. They're sworn enemies, obviously, because of the hierarchy of things in the afterlife. It's good. I don't want to say too much because I don't know like what would spoil and what wouldn't. But it is definitely worth the read. It's worth the hype. Everyone freaking out about the arcs is valid, because it is that good. I think I gave it 5 out of 5, which I don't do a lot. So I really, really liked that one. This one just got published, but I forgot. We were making this list for this podcast a while ago, and I hadn't started reading it yet. But it was an arc when I got it. When I just finished reading it, it came out. And it is now on my pick shelf, like my staff pick shelf. You Won't Forget Me by Maisie Eddings. So cute. It's a sapphic romance that takes place in like the music industry, I guess. Like it's just really good. I don't know how to describe it other than if you listen to the audio, which I recommend, they sing the songs to you. Fun. The audio narrators will sing to you. And so like, you know, when you're reading a book and it's like music and it's kind of awkward because you don't know like what the songs sound like, that like changed the game for me. And so it's storytelling through the typical book, the typical novel format. There's the dialogue, there's the prose and stuff. But then there's storytelling through like the songs that they're writing, and it's original music as they're writing it. But it's about like this band, they like were producing music, and then one of the FMCs in the book felt like in love, or so she thought, with one of the guys in the band, and then the guy like abandoned her and the band and went solo on his own solo journey career.
Sure.
And it kind of was like a nasty breakup. He was awful to her, and then her best friend, who was also in the band, was there for her the whole time. And then they start falling in love in this new band, but then they don't know how to act because there's other things going on, and like their family lives, or like social media pressure of like being in the band, and like what sells and what doesn't, and marketing and all this stuff. And it's very good. I really, really enjoyed it. Maisie Eddings did a great job. I am super jealous of everyone who got to meet her on her book tour, because I would have loved to. But I think everyone could pick that up. I know she was really close. But it was really good, worth a read. So that's one of the arcs I got, but didn't quite finish before it came out. But I have finished it since, and it was just as good as I thought it was going to be. So what about you? Any arcs that you finished?
Y'all are in for a huge treat with Love Felt Like This by Julie Olivia, who is coming to the bookshop for this book, which is, I'm unwell thinking about it. I loved this book so much. Like, it is up there for like one of my top books of the year, and especially like one of my top romances. It follows this woman who is like reviving this children's like Muppets-esque puppet children's show, and it's so fun. It's so fun. And she's like very much into like the 70s and like that era. The meet cute, this is not a spoiler, she meets like this grumpy, very like, he's giving like Hozier vibes, like rock star single dad. And like they end up like working on this show together, and it's like forced proximity, fake dating. He's grumpy. She's literally like the happiest person ever, like very like sunshine of a person. And I literally could not put this book down. Like I started it on a Saturday, and I don't work on Saturdays, and I literally stayed in bed for like 3 hours until I read the whole book, and I was like, this is it. Like, I was giggling. I was highlighting stuff like in my arc. Like, it was so good. And I had read If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia last fall when it came out, and also amazing. I feel like her romances are a little bit longer than your typical romance, and they're a little bit more slow burn, but I love a slow burn. And I feel like that is like, you either love it or you hate it. But I think even if you think you don't like a slow burn romance, read a Julie Olivia book, and I think it will change your mind, because there's just so much yearning and just like chemistry between her characters that like, I can't even tell that it's a slow burn, because I'm like, yeah, they like each other, period. Like you just know, like you feel the energy that they're like bouncing off of each other, and just like that, like the chemistry is just very believable. And like, it's like, okay, why is it taking them so long to get together? And it makes sense. If her couples are not together, there's like legitimate reasons where it's like they're not together like for this like very logical like XYZ adult conversation, like communication like reason, and it makes sense. It's not like if there's a slow burn just to like draw it out and like the book's longer. Like, it feels very intentional, and I just Love Felt Like This is going to be the romance of the fall. I'm calling it right now. It is so good. So good. And I love it. And I'm so excited for her to come to Franklin. That's so exciting. But I loved that one. I'm trying to think if there's any other. I've kind of slowed down on my arc game. I feel like at the beginning of the year, I was reading a lot of arcs for like this spring. I did just finish an arc for a book that's coming out in January. So I'm only going to talk about it very briefly. But I just read the arc for Deadlift by Cleo Evans.
Oh, yes.
And I've been very excited about this book, because I am not like a dark rom-com, dark romance girly. Like, that's not what speaks to me usually. Right. But there was just something, the tagline that they're using in the marketing for this book is that she's a serial killer and he's just Brad. And I don't know what about that made me giggle. And I'm like, well, I need to know what happens. And it was cute. I really liked it. I thought it was fun. It's like, definitely like the type of book, like there are trigger warnings in the front. Read them if you're going to pick this up. But she is like a serial killer, and he just happens to stumble upon her trying to get rid of one of the bodies. And he accidentally becomes an accessory to murder. And he's like, well, I'm already in it, so like let me just like help you. And she's like trying to get redemption for her sister. Like there's like a group of men who murdered her sister, and she's trying to get revenge for her sister. So she's not typically a serial killer. So this is like a new experience for both of them, I guess. But it has a lot of comps to Butcher and Blackbird, which I know the girlies love Brynne Weaver. And so I think it's very similar vibes to that. So if that's like something that you enjoyed, it was fun. And it comes out this January, and it's this author's like traditional published like debut. So that's always very exciting. And I think they did a great job. But yeah, I really liked it. Kind of pivoting, let's kind of jump into some movies and TV shows that we've been watching this year. I feel like 2026 is the year of the book to movie adaptation.
I know. There's been so many.
Not even necessarily of them coming out, but like them being like in production or like in like pre-production. Like I feel like everything is getting something, and I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. Not even necessarily have to be a book to movie adaptation, but what have you been enjoying this year so far?
So I think I'm not a movie goer, which I think I'm kind of changing my mind on that.
I love the movies.
I think I'm kind of changing my mind because I used to not like sitting in the movie theater. I don't think I like being around that many people at once while I'm trying to watch and focus on something, because I think I lose focus pretty quick.
Sure.
And then like someone will move next to me, or like the rappers. Like I just get really overwhelmed at a movie theater.
You have to pick the correct time to go. For adult movies, I feel like if you go between like 3 to like 6, like that, like where it's like still too early for dinner and like through dinner time, they're less crowded every single time.
See, that's good to know, because the movies are already really loud.
Yeah.
And then you add all that other stuff on. I just get really
then you have like Sally next to you like munching on some popcorn.
And so, but I did go see Obsession in the movie theater.
Very good.
I went with Emma, who's our inventory manager, and also like our horror thriller expert and all things like books and movies, TV shows, all the things. And it was by far one of the best horror movie films I've seen in a really long time. I can't even tell you when the last time I saw a movie that made me feel as disgusted and like freaked out as Obsession did. It was phenomenal. It's about this guy who is in love with his friend, and he wants her to be in love with him. And so he goes to this oddity shop to replace one of the crystal necklaces that she dropped down the drain or something like that. And the girl's like, oh, I like, here they all are. But then he picks up a One Wish willow, which is like this, like supposed to be this gimmicky one wish type of like, kind of like a genie in the bottle nod. And he ends up making a wish that she would love him forever more than anybody else in the world or something like that. And the movie just kind of like
derails.
Like literally the only way to like describe it is it just derails, and it's completely out of this world wild the whole time. And it's so creepy. And I loved it too because it wasn't a horror or like a slasher to be a horror movie or a slasher. It had so much going on sub context wise. All the actors did amazing. It's like that movie made me so uncomfortable that my jaw and like shoulders hurt from how tense I was and how much I was like clenching my jaw because I was so freaked out.
I went with my husband to see it, and like he does not like scary movies, and he was like nudging me throughout, and he has like one of those like Garmin like smartwatches, and he was like watching his stress level while he was watching it, and he was in the red zone like the whole time.
It is stressful.
And then like we left and like we're on the car ride home, and then it like immediately like went down to like yellow, and he was like that was too much for me. I thought it was really good. I really like scary movies, and it is definitely like one of the better ones that I've seen recently. I tend to go to the movies a lot, but that was definitely a standout for like a theater like feature film like that has come out in recent years for me, for sure. A movie that stood out to me, this is a new movie, this is like an engaged, like this has been my last 2 weeks, Voicemails for Isabel. Everyone and their mother is watching this movie right now, but for good reason. It has that, like, this movie is so very good. And it is a Netflix movie, which, like, no hate to Netflix, but sometimes I get a little nervous. And it, like, I feel like I didn't see a lot of promotion for this movie until it was out already. So I just, like, hadn't heard of it, and I was like, well, I'll watch it, because I kept seeing it everywhere, especially like on like Threads and like Instagram and things like that. And it has Nick Robinson in it, and I love that man. He is such a good actor. And like Love, Simon, I guess is what the movie's called.
That's where I know him from.
But I loved that movie when I was younger.
So good.
And I like Zoe Dutch is, I think, her name. She is in so many good rom-coms, and I love like a romantic movie. So I hit play, and it was devastating. Like within like 5 minutes, I was not okay. So if you're going to watch this movie, I would proceed with caution. It deals a lot with grief, and especially like, my sister is my best friend. That's my girl for real. And it deals a lot with like sisters. Like that's like the plot is like sisters and grief and handling grief and dealing with grief. And it was a lot, but it was so beautiful. And we need to start casting Nick Robinson in more movies again.
I agree, because I watched him in Love, Simon, and he was amazing. And then I felt like I didn't see him forever. And then he popped up on my Netflix again, and I was like, good, because I loved him in Love, Simon. I loved Love, Simon.
There's he's going to be in another like romance movie coming out, I think in the fall. I saw an ad for it. I got an ad for it because they were like, oh, you like that Nick Robinson? Here you go.
Yeah.
You need to check this out. So yes, Voicemails for Isabel is phenomenal. I watched it and I loved it. My husband watched it and loved it. His parents watched it, and like they texted in like the big family group chat. Like that's not just like their children, but it's like everybody. And they're like, everybody needs to watch Voicemails for Isabel. It is such a well done movie. And also, I don't know if you're familiar with Robin, but she is like a music artist, and I love Robin. And she's like a big part of the movie, which is really fun too.
That is
so. Okay, let's pivot one more time into music. How has music been for you this year?
Music has been one note for me this year, only because, and listen, it's only because Noah Kahan came out with his new album.
Fair enough.
Noah Kahan came out with his new album, The Great Divide, and I have been a Noah Kahan fan since Cape Elizabeth, which is one of his earlier. I think it's an EP even.
Yeah, I think so.
And I've been a fan ever since. I've been listening to him religiously, like 0.05% of his listenership on Spotify almost every year. And it's been playing on repeat in my car. I haven't listened to much other new music. I listened to my gym playlist, which is rightfully called Shred Till You're Dead or something, that I named myself. Thank you. Which is just a bunch of heavy metal to lift weights to. And then I've been listening to Noah Kahan. So it's very like, I'll be in the car listening to Noah Kahan, I'll go to the gym, listen to heavy metal, and then turn Noah Kahan back on. Yes. But it's so good. I feel like his albums get better and better every year. And I'm like, I feel like a broken record, because every time he releases a new album, I say that. I'm like, oh, this one's even better than the last one. But I truly think that he's a good artist, and that he's just like coming into like different sounds, and he's experimenting with different sounds. And The Great Divide is amazing. Willing and Able makes me cry every time I listen to it. I think he is someone who just puts into words the feelings like you feel on a day-to-day basis, but don't know how to like describe. You know what I mean? Like he turns like an everyday feeling into like a beautiful song. Yeah. And it's so good. And I know he writes a lot about his personal life. It's big online right now. He's just started his tour. And some of his more popular songs from the album haven't made it onto the set list every night. And people were really upset about that. And then he put it on the set list for the next night and started crying during it, because they're obviously probably pretty like intimate songs for him to sing. And then people were getting mad at the people who were mad that they weren't on there. It's a whole thing. It's I'm like, I don't care.
Fandom,
that
perhaps.
Man can go up there and sing the ABCs.
Yeah.
I will attend that show. So I am very excited. I did get tickets. I lost the ticket mastering war to the Cincinnati show. I tried really hard, but I lost. And then got tickets to St. Louis. So I am excited. That's the only music I've been listening to that's new. I will say I still listen to Sabrina Carpenter's newest album.
Good.
because she's the same way. When I'm feeling sad, I'll put her on. And then when I'm feeling really sad and want to be sadder, I'll put Noah Kahan on.
And sure. And like, it can really go either way. I get it. No, I really love Noah Kahan too, but I haven't listened to The Great Divide too much. I think I've listened to it like all the way through like a handful of times, but it's just like Noah Kahan is giving fall for me.
That is so valid.
So I feel like in the fall is when I'm really gonna like amp it up and like be in it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just gonna have to be late and just accept my fate. I lost the Ticketmaster war, so it doesn't really matter for me anyway. I can be late and it's no harm, no foul. So that's okay. But
yeah, what about you? What music sparking your interest?
I feel like I've been in the same thing since like this past fall. Audrey Hobart's my girl, and you also very devastatingly watched me lose the Ticketmaster war to that tour as well. I love her so much, and I feel like right now she's really popping off because her song "Sue Me" was in Off Campus, which we forgot to talk about. Off Campus, by Elle Kennedy, was turned into a TV show that was really fun and fresh. But anyway, Audrey Hobart, one of her songs was in the show, and now people are really, really, really liking that girl, which good for her. So happy for her. Horrific for me. But I had an Audrey Hobart summer last year, and we're doing it again. I'm running that back right now. I'm really, really into it still. And she only has one album. She has like 11 songs, and I'm still there. I really love her. And then just recently, like in the last like couple of weeks, Olivia Rodrigo's new album has been really good. I think I'm having like a pop girl summer, which doesn't happen super often. Like I'll usually have like one person that's like in like the pop space like that I like, and then I'll like listen to other things. But I'm also like, I'm not listening to playlists, which is really weird for me. Like I'm usually like make a playlist. Like I have a playlist for everything. Like I have like playlists for every situation that exists in the world, but I'm currently in an album phase where I'm wanting to listen to albums. Like I'm not shuffling them. I want to listen to it from beginning to end, start over, beginning to end. Like I'm just like listening to them like front to back, like over and over again, that's new for me. I don't usually do that. So I'm navigating that. I've also, beyond Olivia Rodrigo and Audrey Hobart, I've been listening to this band called Saturdays at Your Place. And they had an album that came out, I believe, this past fall called These Things Happen, and that album is really, really good. They're from Michigan, but like their music is very like, it's like sits on that like Midwest emo, but like they also like sometimes will like throw in like a ukulele and stuff, so it's kind of fun. I'm really down and into it right now. But that's kind of like all that I've been listening to. I will like flip between those three albums. Like one will finish and I'm like, okay, switch it to the other one, and then I'll switch it to the other one. So that's what I've been working with. All right, so we're going to combine this last section and we're going to talk about highlights so far from this year, and then what are we looking forward to for the remainder of 2026. Do you want to start?
Yes, I am looking forward to, I'll start with that first. I am obsessed that Veronica Roth is writing a new Divergent book.
Yes.
I talk about Veronica Roth all the time, and specifically talk about her all the time on this podcast, but I think she deserves it because she's amazing.
Yeah.
And like a big part of my childhood because of Divergent. And she alluded that she had like big news coming like on her social media. And I could have never in a million years have thought it was Divergent related.
When I saw there was a new Divergent book coming, I said, hey, what?
Yes. And I will say it is on my TBR. We were very fortunate. We did get an ARC at the shop, which is like huge news for me personally. And I will be reading it very, very soon. I tried to focus on like reading queer authors and queer romances during June just because I like that subgenre, and it just felt like fun to like have a theme and read along during Pride. So I didn't read it right away. I put it down.
Yeah.
And I will come back to it because I am like 100 pages into it. So I will come back to it. I am so excited for Sixth Faction. I think it's going to be really good. I love the idea that she's not continuing the story of the original Divergent, which would have been really hard considering how the third book ended.
Sure.
But that it's not a continuation of Divergent or even like a spin-off of Divergent in like a traditional sense. It's an alternate reality,
and I think that's so cool.
That is so fun because like a lot of authors from that like time period are doing things with the original books that they released that got them some popularity, but not all of them are doing the alternate universe. And I think that is such a cool take on reviving some of that like youthfulness from like 2010s.
No, for sure. I'm excited to read that one as well.
Yes.
Super excited. There are 2 books in like the second half of the year that are really sticking out to me that I'm really excited to read. I am very excited for Dreamland by Olive Blake. If you listen to the very first episode of this podcast, everyone and their mother that works at the bookstore had read Girl Dinner, and it was like half of our favorite book of the year.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for Dreamland. I've had the ARC for a few months now, and I just haven't picked it up yet, but I really want to prioritize that one. And I have a feeling that the end of the summer through fall is going to be very like horror heavy for me. I'm very interested in reading some horror right now. Like I just like I'm like gravitating towards that, and I know like horror is really having a moment right now. And so I'm gonna hop on the bandwagon, I guess, and I am very excited. Like there are so many new titles coming out in horror that I like are catching my eye that I just haven't picked up yet, but I'm very excited for that one. The other book that I'm very excited for to come out, I think it comes out in September, is Burn of the Everflame by Penn Cole. It is the 4th and final book in the Spark of the Everflame series. Girl, don't talk to me. I'm going to be out of work. I'm here for like that series. I binged all 3 books in like 2 days. And like those books get big. Like they're not little books. And I just loved all of those characters. And I think that it's one of the most well done romantasy series, and I would say that it's popular, but I would still in the same breath say that it's underrated compared to some of the other series.
I would agree with that.
But it is so phenomenal, and I'm just floored. I am so excited for that.
Yeah, it'll be like a nice little bookend.
A little treat.
I am also really excited for Dreamland by Olive Blake. I love Olive Blake. Girl Dinner was one of what I fought Kara on it being my favorite book last year. I am so excited. I have the ARC as well. I was very fortunate enough to get a digital copy and just haven't picked it up for the same reason. I feel like the vibe is going to be fall. I'm going to read a lot of fantasy horror kind of things just to get kind of in the spirit of things.
Yeah.
And one of those is, this is not a new book, but I heard you talk about it, and I heard Kate Harrogate from Book Wild talk about it as well. We Used to Live Here by Marcus Cleaver. We filmed with Kate for this podcast, and then we took her to the shop to shoot some promo for the post, and she talked about it during the podcast. She talked about it while we were at the shop, and I said fine. She took a picture with it, and I literally took it out of her hands and said, I'm buying it, I guess. So I do have it.
Yeah. Marcus Cleaver, that man, I'm scared of him. His books are actually so scary.
I'm excited.
So We Used to Live Here is his first like horror book, I believe, that's published. And it was like originally like a Reddit story, and then it got traditionally published, which is really cool.
Yes.
But then The Caretaker came out this spring. That book was also really freaky. And like I feel like I don't scare super easily, and especially with like books, like I feel like I don't actually get like a little bit like creeped out, but both of those books had me like kind of being like, hey, what's that noise? Like it was like I was like hyper aware of my surroundings after reading those. Like his books are like legitimately scary.
I'm really excited because I also saw it on a post that was like, if you liked Obsession, read this. And that wasn't the book, but it went on to say, if you like Backrooms, which is another movie that just came out with another young director, which is awesome.
Exciting. Yeah.
And I have not seen it, and I'm tragically sad. I've been trying to see it for
It's
like
good.
the past like 3 weekends. It just hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
I will watch it. But his was listed on the slide that's
I
like,
could see
if you
that.
liked the Backrooms, you will like this book.
Because like his like the way that Marcus Cleaver does horror is not like, I feel like it's not super traditional. Like I feel like he has some like funky twists and like elements that like you don't necessarily always see. And I feel like the like layout of his books, like his books are structurally a little bit unique too, which I really enjoy. And I don't like, I'm not like a horror expert, but I've read like a good amount of horror, but I think he's like one of my favorites in the genre for sure.
Yeah. I'm also really excited for Kiss Slay Replay by Rachel Harrison.
Yeah.
I had to look up the title, not because I didn't know the title, but I keep saying Kiss Slay Repeat. And I don't know why. So I'm so sorry, Rachel Harrison. I am so excited for that book. I know Emma has the ARC copy that we got sent to the shop, so I'm going to read it after Emma does. We are also so fortunate that Rachel Harrison is coming back for Kiss Slay. I almost did it again. Kiss Slay Replay. So I am very excited. I'm hoping that event will be super fun. We've talked about getting a wedding cake for it because the cover has a wedding cake on it, and I'm assuming that has something to do with the book. I want to go into it blind because I did that for her last book, Play Nice, and it paid off. So I think I'm just going to go into the book completely unknowing, but I'm very excited.
So far this year, I feel like we've had a crazy year so far at Wildgeese Bookshop in all the ways, events, just in the shop. Very, very busy times for us, but I feel like it's been a very rewarding 6 months. Like we've had a lot of great things. I feel like Read, Grow, Fly, our nonprofit arm of the bookshop, is doing such lovely things. Just like not even just like in the schools. Like we had quite a few school visits this early like winter, spring, but like we're doing some stuff in the summer with like our children's programming with Grace, who we've had on the podcast. She's doing some story times and some community outreach for Read, Grow, Fly, and it's so fun. I'm so excited to see the little posts every week for it. It's been really cool to see.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see us still be able to give books and get books in the hands of all the kids in Johnson County, or as many kids in Johnson County as we can, even while school's not in session, because I know that was something we were like kind of like talking about. Like what do we do? They're not in school anymore. We can't do authors visits to kids. We had our first, I would say, bigger children's author event, like ticketed, with John Patrick Green. And it was so fun. And they sent us, Mango and Brash, the investigators, they sent us the mascot costumes for that. And that was really fun. It was fun to have Mango and Brash there to greet the kids and take pictures with everybody. And it was so successful, and the author was incredible, and he was so thankful for all the people who came out to support him. And his face lit up every time a kiddo talked to him about wanting to read his books. It was so sweet. I would love to do more of those. It's just something we had never dabbled in. We haven't dabbled in as much, but
I would love to do more like children's events that aren't affiliated like directly with like one school. Like any kid can come and like spend the time with their family, because like in general with like the events, like seeing authors interact with readers of any age group is like the most rewarding and like my favorite part. Like I love just like seeing like a crazy like author interaction, like a sweet like heartwarming interaction, and especially at the kid ones, like there's so many like layers and elements to it, because you get like these kids and they're there with like their friends and they're making friends and they're there with their parents, so like everybody's like sharing this experience. Like, and I just like in my head, like I was such a reader when I was a kid, but like I didn't really get to meet like any of the authors that I loved, but and like so I'm just like thinking like what that would have done for me. Oh my gosh, I would still be talking about it today.
I know. Like I know, it's so special.
Like I meat some of my favorite authors at work like now, and I still like will go on and talk about it. So like
clearly I still talk about Veronica Roth. So
in those formative years, like I like imagine if I had met Veronica Roth when I was like 12. I don't really want to think about that.
She wouldn't have wanted me. She wouldn't have wanted to talk to me when I was that
probably for the
age.
best that she didn't meet me until my brain was fully developed. But it's just so special to see, and it's just so exciting. So I'm really excited for that. And then I feel like we're working on planning like fall and a little bit of 2027 right now, which is nuts, by the way. But I'm just excited to see all of the things that we're able to do.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on, a lot of growth, I feel like, even just in these past 6 months.
Yeah. Our staff's way bigger now.
Our staff is way bigger. I feel like we just keep growing and growing, which is a great thing. And I'm excited to see what the next part of 2026 has in store. We know things that are coming that I think everyone's really going to like and love. We're trying to do more community-based events that are authorless, but like connect communities, like connect readers, I should say, not communities, connect readers together.
Yeah.
We had a really great success. Kara planned the Dungeon Crawler Carl meetup, and it was fantastic, and everyone had so much fun, and it was so amazing to be there. We would love to do more of that. We're currently planning to do more of that. We have gotten to the stage this year where Kara and I look at each other and we say, well, have we asked? And have just started reaching out and like asking kind of like wild wild questions and wild ideas. And we've been pleasantly surprised with the outcome of some of those things. So we're excited for those to come to fruition.
Well, and you never know what people are going to say. Like, you can at least try.
Yeah.
And then, like, we'll know for the future. Because, like, if you have an idea and you want to do it and you don't do it, like, it's always going to be in the back of your mind at some point. And, like, so just ask. I don't know.
Yeah.
Worst they can say is no.
Yeah. I think we're in for an exciting 6 months coming up. I will say the next 6 months are part of the slower part of the event season. The past 6 months are the more like fast-paced moving event after event after event. But that doesn't mean that we slow down. It just means that we get to spend a little bit more extra energy and time into like how the next busy season for events is going to go, or maybe that's a time where we can focus on those community engagement events and things like that. And it just gives us a time to be a little bit more creative and not have to go back to back. But we are so thankful and blessed to have like the back to back. It's been so fun meeting all the readers, meeting all the authors. It's just been a dream.
It's hard to believe that it's only been 6 months so far this year. I'm just excited and grateful, and the podcast didn't exist 6 months ago.
What we're doing currently right now.
Like, that's crazy. So I'm excited to keep developing the podcast and trying new things. As always, if you ever want to see anything from us, send us a DM. We have an Instagram now.
We do.
At Fill Your Cup WGB on Instagram. I monitor the DMs. So if you ever have any questions or you have any requests for like what you would like to see from us, just send me a message on there. Very exciting things. And I think that's a good place for us to wrap up today. And we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.